Alright, so this video it was inspired by a purchase that I made today. And the reason I'm doing this video is when I first started collecting Zippos, I didn't know where to look. I didn't know where to look to find, older Zippos, good used Zippos, that sort of thing. So I pretty much ran the gamut, looking around like chicken with my head cut off. And I kind of wanted to do a video just, so those people who might be new out there have more of an idea than what I had when I started. So I'm going to cover a few of the basics that I use. They may or may not work for you. If it does, good, I'm glad. If not, sorry I wasted your time. But here goes. I'll tell you the first place on my list, and I'm going to give you a couple of places. I'm going to give you a couple of the things that I do to make it more productive. The first one, and it's not the first one on my list as far as my favorite, but it's what inspired the video, so that's what I'm going to go with. Today I had some time to kill, so I went to an antiques mall. Usually I don't do too good at antique shops, but we have a few antiques malls where I live. And the difference being is an antique shop a lot of times is just, it's owned by a couple or it's owned by one person, whatever. And they generally know what everything that they have is worth, and they pretty much ask what it's worth. Antique malls, on the other hand, are a collection of booths, kind of much like a flea market, except they're run by a company that owns the property, and 95% of the vendors at any given time are not there. You go up to the front, you ask to see something. If you're interested in something, they bring you back and they unlock it for you and whatever. A lot of those places, because they're not really manned, people throw their stuff out there and they have prices on them, and a lot of times, if things aren't going so well, they'll have a piece of paper at their booth, everything's 20% off, or I've seen up to 70% off anything in the booth. Those are really nice places to look. I've found a lot of cool things, but you also have to keep in mind that you need to be asking the right questions. And the reason I say this is because I purchased this one today. It's just a nostalgia lighter, but I like the fact that the paint wasn't messed up on it, and the insert actually matches the month and date of the case. It's not a big important thing, anything like that, but I thought it was cool. Look at the bottom, it's focus a little bit, maybe, no? There, kind of. It's J of 2012, and that's what the insert says as well. Now, that lighter I purchased cost me $20. It's about what it's worth, to be perfectly honest. It's between 20, 25 bucks maybe. I've seen them go cheaper than that, but I liked it. Well, when I went to purchase it, I happened to talk to the lady that was up front, and she says, oh, you like cigarette things as well, Zippo lighters, and sometimes some other older lighters I like. And she says, well, we have a lady she's coming in, and she'll be here, today's Friday, she'll be here Monday to set up a small area right here with some camel things from her dad. And I guess her dad had passed. And so I said, well, it's almost an hour from my house to this place. So I asked her, hey, do you know what time she's going to be here? That was a key. Because she looked at me, and instead of saying, hey, come back Monday, she says, well, she's in the back right now. If you want to go talk to her, I'll bring you over. So I went and I talked to her. She's a very nice lady. And she says, yeah, I've got, some camel things, a couple of the watches, this, that, and the other. And she had a little box there that she was going to be putting out. She says, this is all really the camel stuff or whatever that I have. Yeah, you can probably hear my cat in the background. She says, this is the camel stuff I have. Well, in the bottom were these two. And it's not the right box. But this one is a 1994 Camel the Herd Black Crackle Zippo. And it's unfired. And then she had this one. Now this one, well, if I can get it out of the box, maybe. This one-handed, there we go. This one, she says, that one's not a real Zippo, but I've got it in there too. Look at the bottom. She didn't think it was a real Zippo because of how thick Zippo tends to put the paint on these. And guess what? Same thing, unfired. Really, really nice piece. So she had some pricing on them, and I made her an offer, and I offered her $25 a piece for both of these. And she was more than happy with $25 a piece, and I felt, I got a good deal on them, and at the same time, she got a quick sale on them, and I felt good about it. And this is what really inspired it, this video, because had I not asked a couple of those questions, I never would have known about these two. So if you go into a place like an antiques mall, even a flea market, say something. You never know. My second place, it's become more difficult than it used to be, but it's still a good place if you play it right. And my second place, I would say, is eBay. I got my best purchase, Zippo purchase ever, came from eBay. It was a collection. I bought this off a gentleman, and I think, if I remember correctly, there were 18 lighters in the collection, and it came with a display case for them. 3 rows of 6 lighters. Now, on eBay, something that you have to do if you're going to buy multiples like the one that I did, take a quick look and do an inventory in your head to get a good price, to get a good feel for what things are worth. The reason I say that is, as soon as it came up, I looked, and the guy was asking, I think it was $165 free shipping for 18 Zippo lighters. Now, do some quick math, that's under $10 a lighter. And when I looked at them, the first thing that popped out to me was not one of them was, a plain, one of them was a plain silver, or two. Yeah, there were 2 of them that were plain silver but looked different. There was something off about them. I couldn't tell what they were. He didn't have any of the pictures of the bottoms on them. He just said everyone is a Zippo branded lighter. And when I zoomed in, there were 2 of them side by side. And when I zoomed, they both said Peterbilt and had a picture of a Peterbilt truck, Havana, Cuba. Now, 2 things went through my head. Number one, we have at the time, had a trade embargo with Cuba that had been in place since, I believe, the early 60s. So nothing from Cuba was coming here, and nothing from here was going there, legally anyway. So that instantly made me realize that these had to have been pre-early 60s. And at the price that he was asking, I popped on them. Well, they came in, and this was a really I kind of felt bad for this guy, but at the same time, you know, when they came in, the display case came in with a break in it. I was cool with that. I got such a good deal on these lighters that I wasn't going to complain or anything like that. But I did leave the guy a message, you know, hey, next time you ship something that's fragile, it's not a big deal, but try to wrap it a little better. And I sent him a picture. I said, you know, the case came in cracked. I'm not worried about it, but it's just for future reference. And he texted me back, hey, I refunded you 20 bucks. I hope that's enough. He didn't have to refund me a dime, but he did. So I ended up really for 145 with all this. Well, when I went through them, I had a solid sterling silver Zippo in it. I had a silver plated Zippo in with the collection. So those were the two that were plain silver but were a little bit off. And I had a few others. One of the really cool ones I had was the Borden Dairy Cow, and it was a Niagara Falls, Canada Zippo. And that one, I think it was late 50s, early 60s. The two from Cuba, one of them had never been fired. And they were both from 1959. I mean, it was a real score. And that's why I say, do a quick inventory in your head. If you're buying lighters and you know see somebody selling 10 of them for a set price, if you can find 2 of them in there that are worth that price, 1 of them, 3 of them that are worth that price, then you know that the rest of those, if you decide to sell them, whatever, are going to be profit. Leads me to my next one. Now, this next place is yard sales, flea markets, that sort of thing, especially yard sales. I can't tell you how many Zippos I have come across in yard sales that were priced anywhere from 25 cents to $2. Look in little boxes. They have boxes that look like they took a junk drawer and just dumped it in. Look in there. Look in the little nooks and cranny places that stuff isn't, you know, right out in your face. Ask people at yard sales. Just say, hey, you know, I collect Zippo lighters. You have any of those by any chance, or do you know anybody that has them? Chances are they're going to know somebody, and you may get a lead that'll take you somewhere to, you know, buy a Zippo or buy a group of Zippos or whatever. You just never know. Some people have them in their junk drawers. Some people have them in the top of their toolboxes. Oh, yeah, you know, my dad had a bunch of these, whatever. I actually had a customer one time. I was doing a job for a customer, and I just happened to get on the subject. I don't know how we got on the subject, but I did. And he says, hey, you know what? I've got 4 or 5 of those things sitting in my toolbox. And literally, we went in his barn, and he did. He had, I think it was 4 of them. And he says, here, take them with you. I'm not going to use them. I mean, those were freebies just for opening my mouth. There are a lot of places that you can look for these things and keep your eyes out for them. But you got to make sure you're asking the questions, and make sure that when you find something, make sure the people around you know that, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Because you never know. It's always that 1 in a million chance, and it's happened to me so many times, that you're going to find somebody else and come up with something better than what you originally did. I mean, you look at this, I paid $20 for that first lighter. The 2 under it, the 2 Camel lighters, a lot better lighters. I paid $25 a piece. And had I not said something, you know, I never would have known about them. So, I don't know, just some quick tips. I hope it helps somebody. Anything else you like me just shut up? Put it down in the comments. Till next time.